Standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Heavenly Father, we come to this evening as humbly as we know how, thanking you for blessings you bestow upon us as a city. We ask you to continue to protect our citizens, especially those citizens who are homeless during these very, very cold nights. We ask you to help those families who are trying to subside during these very challenging times. We ask you to continue to give us the ability to do this job in a fair and just manner. These and all other blessings we ask in thy name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. The clerk will please call the roll.
Mr. Protogiru?
Aye.
Mr. Riddick?
Here.
Mr. Smigiel?
Here.
Dr. Whibley?
Here.
Ms. Williams?
Here.
Mr. Frame?
Here, the motion is to excuse Mrs. Johnson and Mr. Wynn, please.
Mr. Protogiru?
Aye.
Mr. Riddick?
Aye.
Mr. Smigiel?
Aye.
Dr. Whibley?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Frame?
The motion is to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the previous meeting, please.
Mr. Protogiru?
Aye.
Mr. Riddick?
Aye.
Mr. Smigiel?
Aye.
Dr. Whibley?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Frame?
The clerk will please read the resolution for the closed meeting.
A resolution certifying a closed meeting of the Council of the City of Norfolk held in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. Adopt the resolution. Mr. Protogiru?
Aye.
Mr. Riddick?
Aye.
Mr. Smigiel?
Aye.
Dr. Whibley?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Frame?
Aye. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Norfolk City Council chambers. Thanks for coming out tonight. For those of you who do not regularly attend our council sessions, the process which we will follow is the first thing we do is take up the public hearings, and we have 3 of them on tonight's docket. There's no consent agenda, so we'll move directly to the regular agenda. I think there are 12 of those matters tonight. We'll vote on all those items in just the way they are numbered on the printed docket. At the conclusion of the formal agenda, if any member of the public would like to address the City Council on a non-agenda item, you'll be given that opportunity. In order to have your name called, though, you must have first signed a slip of paper, which the clerk has made available in the rear of in the lobby behind the council chambers, and a number of you have elected to do that. Before we get to the regular agenda, though, the public hearings, we do have a resolution here on behalf of Coach Hank Sawyer and the Lake Taylor Titans varsity state champion football team. Coach, would you like to come to the podium, please? I know it looks like you brought some members of your family and your staff. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And I'll read the resolution, then we would love to hear from you. The resolution reads, whereas under the leadership of head coach Hank Sawyer, the Lake Taylor Titans varsity football team clinched the 2014 Group 4A state championship on December 13th by defeating the Salem Spartans 41-16 in a dominating performance at Liberty University in Lynchburg. And whereas this achievement marked the Titans' second state football championship after winning its first in 2012. Whereas the Lake Taylor Titans finished the 2014 season with a perfect 15-0 record, highlighted by a crushing 42-14 defeat of Dinwiddie Generals in the regional playoffs to avenge last year's loss, and an unforgettable 19-14 victory over the Monacan Chiefs in the Group 4A South Region Final, won in the game's closing seconds when a Lake Taylor field goal attempt was blocked and the ball overtly recovered by the kicker, who ran into the end zone for a touchdown. I think we've all watched
That was beautiful.
Whereas on the way to winning their well-deserved state championship, the Lake Taylor Titans represented the city of Norfolk ably and well throughout the 2014 season, earning the respect of their opponents and bringing recognition to themselves and to the city. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the City of Norfolk hereby expresses great pride in congratulating the Lake Taylor Titans varsity football team on the occasion of winning the 2014 Group 4A State Football Championship, and that this resolution be recorded in the permanent proceedings of the City Council, and that a copy be presented to Coach Sawyer and his staff and team. And I've signed it on behalf of the City Council. And Breck, do you want to?
Yes, sir.
We'll go through. We'll see if this is unanimous as well. Okay.
Adopt the resolution. Mr. Protogiru?
Aye.
Mr. Riddick?
Aye.
Mr. Smigiel?
Aye.
Dr. Whibley?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Frame?
Aye. Thank you, Hank.
Thank you.
Coach, let me give this to you. Maybe you can introduce some of your principal here, as well as the AD and some of your other folks. Okay, okay.
We want to shake your hand. Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. Bless you.
Up to that white head.
Thank you, too. Okay, I do want to introduce my principal, Dr. Reba Jacobs Miller, athletic director, Mr. Robert Bobby Pannenbacker, director of athletics for Norfolk Public School, Mr. Steve Sutmiller, and I may ask them if they want to have something to say. But I do want to say, I have one of my parents here, Miss Moore here, and Coach Floyd, he's my assistant head coach. He's the guy behind the scenes that make us run and make us work. But I do want to introduce two members of my offensive line who are returning. So because they're returning, hopefully their work will get me back here, get us back here in front of you all. Mr. Donnell Ewell, stand up, Donnell. Donnell is just going to be a rising, he's going to be a rising junior. And I don't know if you know it, but he is the #1 offensive and defensive lineman in the class of 2017 in the country. Wow. He already have over 30 offers, BCS offers, and he carries a 3.7 grade point average. Donnell. Mr. Bryant Moore, he's another member of my offensive line. You can see they're not any small guys. And, you know, he's going to play tackle for us. And you see he already has a state championship jacket on from 2 years ago. And he has over a 3.0 grade point average, and we're very proud of him, DJ Moore, and that's his brother. And what I like to say is just thank you. We are really enjoying the field house. Now, the fact that we had the highest power rating in the state, we were able to play an additional 5 playoff games at the field house, along with our 5 home games. So we played in there we sit in there 10 times, and it felt good. But it didn't just feel good for Lake Taylor football. It made us so proud that we had something to offer the visiting teams. Like when Dinwiddie came from out of town, we had somewhere to offer them to go at halftime to get away from the crowd. And we just want to thank the council because I know how much y'all made that happen. And we wanted that for the first game that we had played Phoebus High School, and they had that first game, and we really thank you all. Thank you so much, and we're very appreciated. I don't know if Dr. Miller, Mr. Pannenbacker, or Mr. Sutmiller have anything to say, but I thank you, and I even thank this crowd out here. Thank you.
Dr. Miller, you always talk about accreditation or something. You want to fully accredit it or something. We appreciate you being here. Coach, we thank you, really. We're so proud of Lake Taylor and of all of the athletes there, and the ladies basketball team as well, and as well as all of your players. And we should have had that field house out there a long time ago. We're glad you put it to good use, though.
Well, we thank you. Presently, the girls and boys basketball team are in first place.
Yeah, and I understand that too. Right. Okay. Well, thank you all for coming down and letting us, do this for you. Thank you.
That's our field house.
Yeah.
Mine and yours. Nobody else wanted it.
I was just going to say, you guys. No, I wanted it too.
I think it should be named after you.
I did too. That was $1 million.
The field too.
Okay. And that's right.
Yeah.
Field home.
Okay, thank you. That's great.
Okay. We'll now move to the public hearings. Public hearing 1, please.
Public hearing 1 scheduled for this day to hear comments on approving a lease agreement with the Arts Center for a portion of the Selden Arcade, a property of the city. And I have an ordinance.
Signed up to address the council on this matter.
I have an ordinance approving a lease agreement with the Arts Center for a portion of the Selden Arcade, a property of the city. Dispense with the charter requirement for reading the ordinance and adopt. Mr. Protogiru?
Aye.
Mr. Riddick?
Aye.
Mr. Smigiel,
Aye.
Dr. Whibley?
I'd like to thank everybody that worked really hard on this. This is a good deal. Thank you. Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Frame?
All right. Public hearing 2, please.
Public hearing 2, scheduled for this day to hear comments on approving a lease agreement between the city and Access College Foundation for the lease of certain property owned by the city and described as 7300 Newport Avenue, Suite 500. And I have an ordinance approving a lease agreement between the city as lessor and Access College Foundation as lessee for the lease of certain property owned by the city described as 7300 Newport Avenue, Suite 500, Norfolk, Virginia, and authorizing the city manager to execute the lease agreement on behalf of the city, dispense with the charter requirement for reading the ordinance and adopt. Mr. Protogiru?
Aye.
Mr. Riddick?
Aye.
Mr. Smigiel,
Aye.
Dr. Whibley?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Frame?
Aye. Public hearing 3, please.
Public hearing 3, scheduled for this day to hear comments on approving an amendment to Exhibit A of the Master Development Agreement entered into with Professional Hospitality Resources, Inc., and the Norfolk Redevelopment and Housing Authority so as to correct the legal description of the project site and authorizing the conveyance of a parcel of real property to NRHA as required by the amended Exhibit A.
Alton Robinson.
Good evening, council. My name is Alton Robinson. My address, 735 West 35th Street. I have a question, and I would like for my question to go on record concerning this agenda item, which is what is the value of the property that is being conveyed? And speaking of value, I'm concerned about this factor. Too often, we do not get enough information to make adequate decisions when it comes to council agendas, which I think is a criminal act towards the citizens of Norfolk. Just like the city not meeting the federal requirements for the number of minority officers who should serve on the police force in respect to the population. The same way this agenda item is making the corrections to the legal description of the project site, the city of Norfolk should consider making corrections of violating federal law. It would do the city good if there were more minority officers on the streets, but it would do the city better if there were more minority officers in upper management of the police department. There is an extreme problem with the Norfolk Police Department, and it can be fixed or corrected just like this agenda item. Fixing the department's problem would make the African American community feel valued, respected, and represented if they could present their concerns to a police department where the decision makers reflect them rather than reflect those who caused them to complain in the first place. Look at how easy it is to authorize the conveyance of this property to NRHA as required by law. Since it is required by law for Norfolk to meet the federal guidelines and statutes to have a certain number of minorities on the force, which Norfolk fails to meet and has failed to meet for some time, how about if this council take corrective measures to instructing the chief to make sure that there is a substantial amount of African Americans in upper management of the police department before spring arrives? In my opinion, that would eliminate many lawsuits and save us, the taxpayers, money that could be invested in our schools and neighborhoods. Also, it would send a message that all citizens in Norfolk are represented in the Norfolk Police Department and not just some. Thank you very much. And also, if anyone on council would have any concern about what is really taking place in our Norfolk Police Department, I would recommend that you do a formal request on the number of minorities who have applied and did not be accepted and the reason for their non-acceptance. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, call the roll, please.
I have an ordinance approving an amendment to Exhibit A of the Master Development Agreement entered into with Professional Hospitality Resources, Inc. and the Norfolk Redevelopment and Housing Authority so as to correct the legal description of the project site and authorizing the conveyance of a parcel of real property to NRHA as required by the amended Exhibit A. Dispense with the charter requirement for reading the ordinance and adopt. Mr. Protogiru?
Aye.
Mr. Riddick?
Aye.
Mr. Smigiel,
No.
Dr. Whibley?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Frame?
Aye. Okay, R1, please.
R1 is an ordinance granting a special exception to permit the operation of a car wash known as Riptide Car Wash on property located at 2214 East Little Creek Road. By 7-0 vote, Planning Commission recommends approval.
And Mr. Russell is here to answer any questions if anyone has any. Okay, you can call the roll.
Dispense with the charter requirement for reading the ordinance and adopt. Mr. Protogiru?
Aye.
Mr. Riddick?
Aye.
Mr. Smigiel,
Just wanted to make sure on this one, I noticed that there weren't the trees, there weren't buffer on the side. Is there a reason for that? I know the Civic League had asked me about it and I forgot. There's trees there in the front, but on the sides, there's not trees. And I didn't know if it was just,
The request was actually for a fence, and the fence is part of the ordinance that you have. The way the site works, we're getting as much landscaping as we possibly can
Okay.
on the site.
okay, all right, thanks. Aye.
Dr. Whibley?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Frame?
Aye. R2.
R2 is an ordinance granting a special exception authorizing the operation of an eating and drinking establishment known as Residence Inn Norfolk on property located at 227 West Brownwood Avenue. Planning Commission recommends approval by 7-0 vote.
Mr. Henn is here to answer questions on behalf of the owner. Rick, where are you? There he is, okay.
Dispense with the charter requirement for reading the ordinance and adopt. Mr. Protogiru?
Aye.
Mr. Riddick?
Aye.
Mr. Smigiel,
Aye.
Dr. Whibley?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Frame?
Aye. R3.
An ordinance granting a special exception authorizing the operation of an eating and drinking establishment known as Paint Gallery on property located at 4408 Colley Avenue. The Planning Commission recommends this on a 7-0 vote.
And Kim Keen is here to answer questions. Right there. Okay, you call the roll.
Dispense with the charter requirement for reading the ordinance and adopt. Mr. Protogiru?
Aye.
Mr. Riddick?
Aye.
Mr. Smigiel,
Aye.
Dr. Whibley?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Frame?
Aye. R4.
An ordinance granting a special exception authorizing the operation of an eating and drinking establishment known as Courtyard downtown Norfolk on property located at 520 East Plume Street. The Planning Commission recommends approval by 7-0 vote. Dispense.
I have a question. On this one, we're allowing them to sell alcohol from 6 a.m. in the morning until 2
I
a.m.,
think we always,
It's allowed now.
yeah. I
6
think-
a.m.? But they were at 11 a.m. 6 a.m.?
Well, for some reason,
I don't,
I'd agree with you too, Angela. For some reason,
Mimosas.
you know,
6 a.m. in the morning?
our George Homewood believed that we needed to change and allow people to start drinking early in the morning. 6 a.m. is ridiculous. George, you know I'm talking about you. Come on up and talk to me about
2 to
this.
6 is not even enough time to get sober.
Well, I mean,
I think it's a matter of, there,
You know, one time,
wait,
we had
wait,
a-
hold
we
on,
had some-
wait just a second, hold on. Angela, did you want to ask Mr. Henn any questions about?
Well,
Rick, did
just
you want
6 a.m.
to respond to the 6?
I know we did 10 on Sunday, and I really don't have a problem with that, but 6 a.m. seems early
Yeah.
in the morning to me, even for a mimosa.
Rick Hand, 1400 Granby Street. The reason they did that was for champagne toast for weddings.
At 6
6
a.m. in the morning?
Turn the lint on that one. That's what they asked for. You want to move it up to 10? That's fine, we'll move it to 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, George, you're off the hook.
Okay. Okay, all right. That was easy. So, 10 o'clock, you going to make the alterations, changes there?
Done. Done.
Okay, so,
Dispense with the charter requirement for reading the ordinance as amended and adopt. Mr. Protogiru?
Aye.
Mr. Riddick?
Aye.
Mr. Smigiel,
Aye.
Dr. Whibley?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Frame?
aye. R5.
An ordinance granting a special exception to operate an automobile sales and service establishment named Import Cycle Center on property located at 5328 East Virginia Beach Boulevard. By 7-0 vote, Planning Commission recommends approval.
Mr. Kale is here to answer questions if there are any. Okay, call the roll.
Dispense with the charter requirement for reading the ordinance and adopt. Mr. Protogiru?
Aye.
Mr. Riddick?
Aye.
Mr. Smigiel,
Aye.
Dr. Whibley?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Frame?
Aye. R6.
An ordinance granting a special exception to permit the operation of a commercial drive-through for Taco Bell on property located at 649 North Newtown Road. By 7-0 vote, Planning Commission recommends approval.
And Mr. Underwood is here to answer any questions back here. And Mr. Mason from the Civic League, is that right? If there are any, and you're in support of it, I take it, yeah. Okay. Okay, call the roll.
Dispense with the charter requirement for reading the ordinance and adopt. Mr. Protogiru?
Aye.
Mr. Riddick?
Aye.
Mr. Smigiel,
Aye.
Dr. Whibley?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Frame?
Aye. R7.
An ordinance authorizing the city as administrative and fiscal agent for the Norfolk Transitional Grant Area under Title I of the Ryan White Comprehensive AIDS Resources Emergency Act to accept Part A grant funds in the amount of $7,204 from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services for HIV/AIDS health and support services and appropriating and authorizing expenditure of said funds. Dispense with the charter requirement for reading the ordinance and adopt. Mr. Protogiru?
Aye.
Mr. Riddick?
Aye.
Mr. Smigiel,
Aye.
Dr. Whibley?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Frame?
Aye. R8,
An ordinance authorizing the acceptance of up to $20,000 in grant funds from the Commonwealth of Virginia Department of Social Services and United Methodist Family Services, appropriating the funds and authorizing the expenditure of the funds for an adoption incentive program. Dispense with the charter requirement for reading the ordinance and adopt. Mr. Protogiru?
Aye.
Mr. Riddick?
Aye.
Mr. Smigiel,
Aye.
Dr. Whibley?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Frame?
aye. R9,
An ordinance approving the conveyance to the City of Norfolk by Norfolk Redevelopment and Housing Authority of certain parcels of property that are currently part of the Midtown Industrial Conservation Project and the Central Bramilton Conservation Project, and authorizing the city manager to accept the deed on behalf of the city. Dispense with the charter requirement for reading the ordinance and adopt. Mr. Protogiru?
Aye.
Mr. Riddick?
Aye.
Mr. Smigiel,
Aye.
Dr. Whibley?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Frame?
aye. R10,
A resolution approving the formation of legal entities by Norfolk Redevelopment and Housing Authority to facilitate the revitalization of the Grandy Village community. Adopt the resolution. Mr. Protogiru?
Aye.
Mr. Riddick?
What is this one doing?
That the Housing Authority has the ability to create corporations. And when I've seen them do it, it's enabled them to take advantage of tax programs.
Okay.
So that, like the city, they are a tax-exempt entity, and some of the benefits only accrue to taxable entities. And so that in connection with their developments and redevelopments, they frequently create corporations to assist them with financing on them.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I vote aye.
Mr. Smigiel,
Aye.
Dr. Whibley?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Frame?
aye. R11,
An ordinance to repeal one subsection of sections 25-651 and 653 and to amend and reordain sections 25-649, 651, 652, and 654 of the Norfolk City Code so as to add 2 new right turn on red prohibitions, 4 new U-turn prohibitions, 2 new one-way streets, and 9 new stop intersections. Dispense with the charter requirement for reading the ordinance and adopt. Mr. Protogiru?
If I could,
Sure.
may I, Paul? I have a question of the manager. Marcus, we've gone over this before, and I've tried to figure out, these are in my ward, and it's the Terminal Boulevard, Hampton Boulevard area. Were these brought before the Civic Leagues at Meadowbrook and at Lock Haven?
My understanding is not just
Mr.
once,
Reed.
but multiple times, but David Ricks will.
Yes, they have. We actually, this ordinance is looking at 10 locations. Of those 10 locations, 3 are actually a result of we're getting new signals that's going to be funded by the state in terms of new signals, and related to the new signals, we want to change the signage around that to make sure it improves the safety. The other 7 locations are input basically from the citizens and also from our police department, and looking at the issues and also working through the civic leagues.
Well, and the only reason I ask you this, in the past, if I may, Paul?
Sure.
In the past, what we've had is that it appears that you may have a citizen will make a complaint.
Right.
And all of a sudden, next thing we know, we've got a stop sign or we've got no U-turn, whatever it may be. And instead of it going to let's say, the group as a whole.
Right.
Because then what inevitably happens, somebody will say, well, we didn't know that we were getting a no U-turn, we didn't know we were getting a stop sign there, we didn't want it there. But because we reacted to one person's request instead of the group request, or at least vetting it through the Civic League or the block or the individuals involved, we got stuck with something we really did not want, only because somebody either may have been malicious about it, maybe had their own agenda for something, and we really didn't need that particular sign. So the reason I'm asking is those areas at Terminal, at Hampton Boulevard that I reviewed, we can at least, if I'm asked, those were vetted by the Civic Leagues.
That's correct. I had my staff double check when we got documentation that Civic League reviewed it and it basically endorsed the recommendation.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Aye.
Mr. Riddick?
Aye.
Mr. Smigiel,
Aye.
Dr. Whibley?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Frame?
aye. R12,
Mr. President, may we take these together?
Sure. 12 and 13, right?
Yes, sir. And these are ordinances directing the city treasurer to issue refunds of $73,479.50 plus interest to Portfolio Recovery Associates for overpayment of business license tax for years 2011 through 2013, and $181,244.95 plus interest to PRA Receivables Management for overpayment of business license tax for tax years 2011 through 2013. Dispense with the charter requirement for reading the ordinances and adopt. Mr. Protogiru?
Aye.
Mr. Riddick?
Aye.
Mr. Smigiel,
Aye.
Dr. Whibley?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Frame?
Aye.
That's all I have, Mr. President.
Okay, that concludes the formal portion of tonight's agenda.